Janthana, good to see you again. Could you introduce who you are, what your company does, and the problems that you solve?
Yes, I'm Janthana and I'm founding a company called Tapley. We are the award-winning Insurtech that provide technology solutions and combine with insurance product for the micro SME and freelancers.
Okay. Okay. What made you get into this space?
I guess is I was one of the customer that couldn't find the insurance that I need. And that's how I basically came across the challenge or the problem that I'd now set up the entire company to solve. Is to be able to provide flexible insurance solutions that bridge some of the insurance gap where traditional insurance players are not able to offer the same level of flexibility
Okay.
and consider cost, the price and the convenience for customer.
Okay. So how does this look in real life? What is the common scenario? Can you give an example of the situations where people may be experiencing this problem? What does that actually look like?
Okay. Obviously, like I build the entire business concept based on my own personal experience and to, like give myself as an example or to use myself as an example to your questions would be I was renting part of my room through Airbnb. I realized that my home insurance wouldn't cover my paying guests because of the durations, which is much shorter than any kind of landlord insurance policy that would cover other, like kind of letting home insurance would cover you if you are let out to tenant for
Hmm.
at least 9 months. So it's had to be long a year worth of contract as opposed to a couple of day worth of contract. And I think it was very difficult for me to find cover because the cover didn't exist in the market. The product didn't exist. That's how we started the business.
Yeah, yeah. So, and yeah, I'm sure there was loads of people experiencing that same issue. So, how did you then go to market? Was it very much just running ads for awareness? How did that look?
To be honest, we started off obviously, like with a PPC. We did that while we are building our contents for SEO purposes. So today we are much more successful in SEO because SEO is actually sustain the website traffic. So we get a lot of leads even now that we, barely do anything, but we still get people. That is part. And the PPC side, we find that it was too competitive in terms of, like who is betting for the same keyword. So
Hmm.
therefore, we did it briefly. We realized it's not economically viable for us to
Yeah.
continue, so we stopped. So, today SEO is our main. But what we did very well is that when we first started, we knew that, the branding is very important, and there were like few criteria that I apply, which really help us. Like name, we choose name that are absolutely no association with anything, just for SEO purposes. We choose name that have .com from the domain name that, easy for people to pronounce and have, positive notation and so on and so on. So we choose using all of that information in order to find the right name. And it took over 3 naming exercise that were done at different point in time. It's like over 3 months exercise. We get like external consultant to come in and help us because it was so important for us to get
Mm,
it right. And then of course, I do a lot of that thought leader, influencers, marketing, but mostly myself doing it.
yeah.
So I build myself to be a thought leader, which help the SEO side because, like you need followers, you need people to recognize your brand, and you need people to participate and listen into your leadership.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we did really, really well.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So is it a completely direct to consumer model? Do you do partnerships? Do you go after businesses? Because yeah, how does that look?
So like most business, like we have multiple distribution channel.
Mm,
We've got anything from B2C direct. We do B2B2C as well. We
mm,
do embedded insurance through technology where we have, our own product lines. We've also do B2B, which is, through brokers. So we've got a network of brokers that we work with. Just to explain I think I didn't explain at the beginning what Tapoly really does within the insurance intermediaries. Although we sell insurance, but we are an MGA,
Mm.
managing general agent. And that means that we have the ability to create our own product using our own brand and be able to risk select on behalf of insurance company. And that means that we have, to some extent, the ability to create product that are not standardized. So there's some flexibility in us creating our own product with our own pricing. And that's what, make us a little bit more, I would say, more flexible compared to other insurance broker that may only focus on distribution. And they will have some problem with product differentiation because you sell exactly the same product that other people have. And usually it's, in the standardized way. So from the product innovations and technology capabilities, we are very, very strong at Tapley.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. And I can see why you've got the variation of different channels to grow. Which channel, if there is one that stands out, which channel gets you the most business?
Today, probably B2C, to be honest, because it's the most cost-effective way for
Yeah.
us, especially if you have built SEO enough for you to be able to get organic leads and customer. That's the best way for any business. But I know that it's not the quickest way to grow. It takes a very long time to get here. And my business had been, longer than most Insurtech business that have just, been around for a couple of years. Because like anything, reputations, you building reputation, you building your domain ranking, and it doesn't come overnight. It takes years to get to the point where, you be like on the top first
Mm.
page of Google or other search engine.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, similar to creating your personal brand, right? You
Yes.
a strong personal brand, liking it very similar to SEO. It's not immediate, but now you're probably getting all the extra benefits that you can't track, but people are converting and more partnerships, all that kind of thing.
Okay.
You have invested that time. Okay. So Tapley's quite flexible of the products, creating lines that are focused on the consumers, giving that ability to offer insurance where other people aren't. But is there anything in the buyer or the sales journey that is still hard to control, or you can't work with is there certain areas where it's just too difficult to find fits?
I think, in terms of challenging, business generally is very challenging in insurance space because it's very well trodden as a, area. There's a lot of players out there who have a lot more money than you. So you have to be very innovative
Mm.
about how you get your customer and how you build a product that will add value. What I mean by adding value is that, if you're going to set out to do exactly what big insurance company do, and follow the same step, it would be extremely hard because you wouldn't add enough value to your customer to
Yeah.
warrant them coming to you. Vice versa, as insurance intermediary, we are dependent on our insurance partner. So we can't, we can't offer those wonderful products without partnership, and we need to also add value to insurance company. Competing, adding value. And how do we do that? Is to offer insurance that they would probably not able to offer, or focus on customer base that the insurers would like to, but not able to for either technical reason or cost reason.
Mm.
Right. So you need to think about, do I add enough value as a business to my customer, to my partner that we are dependent on? If the answer is yes, then you got a business case.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how does that work? And I may be asking a bit of a silly question here, but the so Tapley, because you're tapping in, you're using another insurance provider to provide the insurance, right? It's
We need partnerships. The reason for that is for product that we would like to underwrite or we are underwriting, you need the balance sheet. You need for capital requirement purposes, you need like a certain level of funds in your balance sheet,
yeah,
cash usually, or liquid assets, in
yeah,
order for you to be able to underwrite certain product to a certain limit. That part, as a small company, is not impossible, it's hard for us to do. So
Yeah.
we're always relying on established insurance company to back. So we would be backed by somebody. And that's, I think, the difference between an MGA. A broker, their responsibility is to the customer.
Yes.
So you work for your customer, and you often have minimum regulatory requirement is that you need to be neutral. And that means that you need to go to a different insurance company, get, at least minimum of 3 quote, just to be in line with the FCA's rule here, for you to be able to present the best offer to customer. Whereas MGA, on the other hand, you work dedicatedly to insurance company. You are like an extending, like front end part of the insurance company that you work for. So that's different. Like agents have responsibility toward the insurance company that give you the pen to underwrite. Whereas brokers usually are more independent. They work for customers. And we do, so, we have both roles, to be honest, in terms of how we interact and service our customer. Yes, which make it extremely confusing. And so we have very complicated distribution channel because of that.
Yeah, and I think the thing that maybe the listeners are thinking as well, but I'm thinking, okay, why would the insurance company that's backing you not just write the policy? I think it's because you are you're doing a lot more due diligence, maybe taking further information, and also that then it's almost like the reinsurance kind of setup. Have I got that right, or am I way off?
To answer, to simplify my answer to you is that because insurer may either have the technology solutions, the expertise, not necessarily about the product, but about the customer, to be able to focus on that sector, or the cost. It may, for example, we focus on micro businesses where profit margin is extremely low. Insurance company have higher operating costs, so therefore they can't really operate at a low margin like we do, because we are a technology company. And so we play on our strength, and we focus on the area where insurance partners know that this is the future, but they, at the moment, it's not cost beneficial for them to be market with us right now, and therefore they need Tapley to be able to access those market until such time that this market is accelerated and become big enough for them to enter. So that's really how our relationship is with our insurance partner. And always be a market gaps. That's it would always be market. As long as insurance products still standardized, there will always be the need for Tapley.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And for maybe anyone that doesn't know, or like from my experience with the insurance providers, getting good underwriters is pretty difficult. So getting specialist underwriters is even harder. So that makes complete sense. So what's a like growth or sales strategy that you completely disagree with?
To be honest, I don't disagree with any of the sales strategy, but I think obviously the cheapest to grow today, if I have the money, it would be through acquisition. That's like what I agree to. And the reason for that is, first of all, you get an established book of business that's proven that, customer probably much more loyal. And if it's not loyal, you may have like a decent, solid book of business. If you're trying the B2C, when you're trying to build a business yourself, if you're like first-time founder trying to build everything yourself, first of all, you have to raise a lot of money, a lot more than what you would expect, because Insurtech is very expensive as a business to run and set up. And then on an ongoing basis, you're going to need a lot of legal, compliance, technology, you name it. You need a lot of expertise to be able to build and launch a product and continue selling products. And that come not without cost. So B2C is harder. It's not impossible. If I can, change something, I would change the way I do things. I definitely would change. Obviously, organic SEO has been working well for us, but I probably will, I probably would leverage on someone else's name. I will probably structure my partnership in a different way to allow us to benefit from our partners' brand, trust, recognition to start instead of trying to build my own brand from day one. So that would be something that I do differently, I think, apart from the fact that I feel that I probably would rather partner with a company that already done something that I have the skill set to partner with. That would be an acceleration to what I do. Instead of being an innovator, which I won so many awards for, great achievement, but there are costs being an innovator because you don't have anybody that you can learn from. There's no real model of success when I started because a lot of Insurtech startup starting the business at around the same time. So, but now we've got, clear success cases. We have learned a lot from everybody. So, looking back, if I were to start my business now, there is certainly, a few things that I would definitely do better and do differently.
Yeah. Okay. So partnering up, not having to do the innovation and leveraging the brand a bit more and that to grow faster.
Exactly. To lower your cost.
Yeah.
All about lowering your cost and looking at building the business, and don't worry too much about competition because there's no such thing as competitions in insurance space. Because if you look at everybody in insurance, they're all going to focus on more than one area. Even like insurance company, we got insurance company that have their, their own B2C distribution, but then, the other part of the same business could be facing broker, for example. There's no clear cut, no business model in the insurance world to say, okay, this is what insurance does, because insurance could do pretty much like the entire value chain. Some insurers also managing claim and have their own claims team, for example. So yes, and other may just focus on like very small part niche area. That's no standardized way of setting up your business. It's only like what you think you are capable of and whether you have the funding to be able to do that well. But the bottom line that you have to be better than everybody else to succeed in this market.
Okay, I like it. I've got a question. I usually ask, so how much value do you put on follow count and likes when looking at how strong your personal brand is?
Yes, huge. Like without people likes, follow account, I won't be able to build the social brand. It's very, very important. Engaging with your customer, making sure that you create content that add value to, like have a lot of tractions really helps you. I've obviously been, nominated at the top 100 sales, top 100 influencer this year. I'm very, very good at that. I'm very conscious about what I need to tick in terms of KPI in order to be like the tops, having like the top score in my social media. But, if you know where KPIs, where's the tick box, then you can follow, to some extent that rule and then improve your scoring.
Yeah, okay.
Your metric, like if it's like number of followers, it's like the engagement on each of your posts, like the number of impressions, you name it.
Okay. And do you put value when you get, so on YouTube, you can see when people are disliking. Do you put value on dislikes or negative comments or maybe constructive comments? How do you approach it?
Because you see, like, it's really funny. Most fame come from something that people strongly feel dislike. You understand?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as, like a bad PR. There's only like PR and more PR. The worst post that you would not have thought of, you think, oh my God, how can these people say that? Or how can that person post that? But those are the ones that everybody watch. So from PR perspective, like the more ridiculous your post seem to be, the better, because people just like that kind of thing. If you're thinking about it, our mind is focused on negative, not positive. If people say something, oh, I have a wonderful day, I win an award, nobody care about that. But if I have such a terrible day, like X, Y, Z, like stuff went wrong today, people will be focusing and zoom in on that. And dislike is bring it on, because dislike mean a lot of people, the more criticism you have, the higher is people view and interest.
Yeah. Okay. So more awareness is, okay. Yeah.
More awareness. Yes.
Yeah. And would you say that maybe for like every dislike you get or negative comment, that brings more people to your brand that would like you anyway? Like, so it actually has a positive effect.
Yeah. So obviously, if you want to be a thought leader, you have to be able to articulate. You have to be able to deal with the negativity and criticisms. So if you want to really show your thought leadership, is to be able to take criticism and turn it into positive. Or may have, like a bad day, they say something that they shouldn't, or it's not reflecting your intention, then you need to be able to gently, like correct that. And the more you can do that, the more you show your leadership.
Okay.
So
So
always.
don't for it.
No, I would not advise people to ignore it. I think you need interaction, engagement. If you completely ignore that, you give the impression that you don't care, and you want to care about other people comment. You want to either show that, like can deal with criticism, you can change people's mind, you have, like you can articulate your thought in the way that could be accepted by majority of people. And that's what you need to be able to do as a thought leader. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's very.
Yes, PR is different. If you just want to have PR, you can, post the most ridiculous video and picture of yourself, and people would give you lots of attention, but
Yeah.
they not good PR. When you are selling financial products, you need to be credible. So you need to position yourself as thought leader, and you have to be really careful in how you come across and how you present yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's helpful. Yeah. That's going to change how I approach. I've had a round of negative comments on the YouTube recently, so I've just been ignoring them because it hasn't it never really affects me. But actually, now with your advice, I need to respond to them, but in the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. I like that. Can we go into a bit of a quick fire round where very short questions, and just give the initial thought off the top of your head. So, a book or a podcast that's changed how you think.
A book or a podcast, you see, like I don't want to admit this, but I don't have time to read books.
Okay, yeah,
I do like videos, but I do, I wrote my own books just over a year ago, which I launched, is called Navigating Insurtech, and it's on Amazon if anybody interested to buy it. You may be able to Google it, Navigating Insurtech Janthana. You should have some link for that, yes. And I wrote it because I wanted to help other people who enter insurtech space or who start their career in insurance, because it was very confusing for me when I first started. I didn't know where to start. So I bring this book to create a more holistic view of how the whole insurtech and how that works.
Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah. Well, probably quite a strong recommendation for anyone listening to the podcast then. Okay, cool. What's a favorite sales or founder tool that you're using a lot?
To be honest, I also really ashamed to say that I use my own tools. Asana is one of them, actually. I do, I'm a taskmaster. What I mean is that everything I have to do is either in my calendar, in my task. And I make the point of, at the end of each day, I clear all of my tasks. And that's how I manage tasks, because otherwise I have too many things and I need to learn how to prioritize them. Like sometimes you have like 3, 4 competing project or priorities. You have to work out when you need to complete what task by, and then you need to be able to change things around, which is quite confusing. And if you see my calendar, like every day is like full, because I literally schedule every single task in my calendar so that I don't forget them. So, so yes.
Yeah. So a calendar.
CRM obviously is quite wider. CRM is email automation and all of that, which I don't need as much, but I need more like managing tasks and any tool that would help me with that. So Asana is a good tool for me. Otherwise, I use Excel spreadsheet for my tasks.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Underrated go-to-market channel. Would this be SEO for you?
No, actually, because
Okay.
SEO is too obvious. I would say partnership that will really help, because partnership, first of all, you got the market. You basically have a consolidated market. So imagine, if you partner with a challenger bank that have a few million in customer, you can actually access the entire network.
Yeah.
If you have, depending on the type of partnership you have, if you have the commitment from your partners, like you can convert more customer in the channel, and the trust is built, and given to you and your customer, because they know it was recommended by the bank that they trust their money. So I think, that is really helpful, but everybody's going for that. And it's very hard to get in when you are a startup or when you're a small company trying to work with more successful challenger bank or big bank, because they will have like hundreds of companies trying to approach them for exactly the same partnership.
Yeah.
So how you get in, that's the question. Again, connection. So it's all about people skills here.
So who's a founder that you really admire?
Obviously, I'm surrounded by female CEO, and I have great admiration to my peers, but two that stand out and that are closer to me obviously would be, Leah. She's head up the mobile group, is a network of small brokers, and she's done fantastically well in supporting the small brokers, which is sorely needed in this current environment. And then, of course, Donna Scully, she's, kind of the CEO of Carpenters Group. It's, the company, she set it up herself, and she have very strong background in, legal insurance, not to mention that she's one of our biggest support for all the female leaders and female in insurance in general. She's like one of our diversity queen, I would say, in terms of, supporting everybody. So I have great respect for both of my ladies. And I think, yes, they are fantastic to be around as well. So wonderful. We got amazing women in insurance, I must say.
Perfect. Hopefully I can reach out to them and try and get them on the podcast as well. So where can people connect with you, Jan?
Obviously, for business, LinkedIn is good. Otherwise, visit our website and send me an email. You should get all our contacts online.
Perfect. Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for coming on. That's the podcast. And yeah, speak to you soon.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.